But I'm asking you, you wake up early in the morning, you get yourself dead. How can you feel? You wake early up in the morning, you get yourself, you are dead. How can you feel?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mazes, okay? I welcome you to this evening broadcast, and I hope you haven't just woken up, and I hope you didn't find yourself dead. As it is this evening, we are going to be looking at a couple of issues, 3 or 4 topics. One is the allegation that the Obidients are behind the NSAS, or the Obidients were those who orchestrated the NSAS ab initio and eventually also tried to use the NSAS to stop President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is an allegation that was made by the elder statesman. I call him elder statesman, respectfully so. He's an elder, but after the statement he made, I am inclined, I do not know if I could use the other word that is called statement again, before his name as an appendage in this case. Irrespective of how we feel about this, the reason why some of us who understand and who are involved, deeply involved in the formation, in the running of the obedient movement, the reason why we have to speak up is that there is an adage in my place that says, "Asibafo, obulezioku." When lie goes unchallenged for a very long time, it appears and it begins to smell like truth. Therefore, it behoves all of us to, tackle lies when we see them and state, respectfully, try as much as possible to state facts without any ambiguity. Recall there was a time in this country up to about 23 months ago, we once had a man, no, oh, sorry, about 19, 20 months ago, we had a man that somewhat questioned himself why Nigerians called him the lying machine or the lying Mohammed, or as he called himself during the Senate, clearance. He said, "Why do Nigerians call him liar Mohammed?" Those are not my words. Have a
When my 7-year-old grandson called me and said, "Grandpa, tell me the truth. Why did they call you liar Mohammed?"
So he was questioning, why do Nigerians call him liar Mohammed? I recall that there was a time in question that the man in question was of, every time we would understand and we would see him uh, saying things that we would say, okay, elder, this thing you're saying is not actually this or no follow. But hey, suddenly Nigerians began to doubt him, and eventually he began to question why Nigerians started doubting him. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at obedient official stand on that. The statement that was released by Dr. Tanko Yunusa moments ago, and that was published. We're going to look at that. And we're going to look at an event that happened yesterday in Abuja, where eminent Nigerians gathered, and the discussion was on Nigeria. Some of them spoke, including someone like the former governor of Rivers State, Right Honorable Rotimi Chibike Amaechi, former governor of Kaduna State, Natsir El-Rufai, In their speeches, they rattled Nigerians in a way that Nigerians already knew these things before they said them. But hey, some people are now beginning to question, are they actually trying to whine us, or are they making the statements in good faith? We will then, after that, move to the Barakboism in the PDP camp, where the BOT meeting of yesterday was taking place, and they really threw themselves heavy blows. That is what we call PDP fight to finish. Now, if we are looking at the events that happened yesterday and we're taking two planks, one, that Amaechi is saying to Nigerians, you guys are not yet ready. In Ghana, an election was conducted, and they saw that if you rig this election, the people were going to do something. But in your own, everyone kept quiet. I say, okay, we didn't. Many of us, including my good brother, Dr. Moore, some of us protested. But hey, what you going to do? But when we get there, I'll tell you what I think about him. On the other hand, the former governor of Kaduna State is saying it is time to actually kick the butts of APC, even when he is still in the APC. Now, and I'm beginning to ask myself, if he is accusing Wike, he didn't say that, but I'm saying it now, of being in the PDP and trying to destabilize the PDP from within the PDP. And I'm thinking, Nasir, are you not doing the same thing within the APC? Anyway, what I know, let's get the ball rolling. In this, I will get this conversation by a man I respect so much. If you're not following him on YouTube, please do. One of the best places you can watch Nigerian history. This is Edmond Obilo, a man I so much admire in his act of interviews. He does a lot of fantastic interviews regarding the Nigerian history, right? Now,
he's not the president.
This interview here, in this segment of the interview, he did interview the elder statesman, as I said before, and he had the following to say.
Oh, yes, he is. You're happy, right? That I have. You're happy? Oh, very happy. I instigated him. I encouraged him. I worked for it. You instigated him? Oh, yes. You told him go for it? Oh, yes. They called me. Somebody called me, come, there is trouble. And
I do not know why that is not showing. In that case, because it's not showing, I'm going to make it a full so that you hear the voice. For some reason, it's not the I can see from my filter that is not showing, but let me continue with the audio then in this case. Let me start afresh again.
Tinubu is not the president. Oh, yes, he is. You're happy, right? That I have. You're happy? Oh, very happy. I instigated him. I encouraged him. I worked for it. You instigated him? Oh, yes. You told him go for it? Oh, yes. They called me. Somebody called me, come, there is trouble. And I was in Lagos. What is the trouble? They say anybody that talks to him about presidency he was quarreling with them. When this one talk about that, anybody that mentioned, he was quarreling with them. And then I met him. And he said, Baba, do you have money? If I had the kind of money that people have to be president, I will rank with Dangote. Tinubu was saying that? Yes, to me. When was this? Well, sometimes shortly before COVID.
Did you hear that? At some point, Tinubu even
shortly before
lost the ambition of running the presidency with Dangote. Recall that, in case you have forgotten, Pabisia Kande and Tinubu is the reason why Buhari won the 2019 presidential re-election. When Buhari was sick, they were initially the only two people that went to see him in London. And when it appears that both of them had fallen out of favor, Bisia Kande was also the man who finally intervened. Now, when you listen to this conversation, it's revealing. We're not going to play all these conversations, so I'll urge you to go to his platform on YouTube. Just type in Edmond Obiro. You will hear and you will see the whole interview. But listen to this part.
Elsa.
The same Tinubu everybody is saying is the owner of Lagos in terms
Yes,
of money.
Yes, that's what he said to me.
They didn't have money?
Yes, that's what he said to me. And I said, look, we don't want you to be president because of you. You are unimportant in this matter. But that in Yoruba tradition, when you want to worship the deity, you take the fattest animal or the biggest yam to worship the deity. Yoruba wants to be president. And you are the one we have now. It is to sacrifice you so that we can have president, not for you to be anything.
What did he say?
He didn't know what to say. He was looking at me as if I was sick or something. He didn't say anything. He was just sober.
But he told us.
Okay. I think for many of you, it might actually be more beneficial. Let me try and see if I can play this directly from. Let me see if I can get this to work. Yes, this one works. Let me play this directly here. In this case, I go back and I start again because it might make sense, visually, for you to see these and understand what the elder said here. Let me start afresh again.
Yes.
You're happy, right?
That I have.
You're happy.
Oh, very happy. I instigated him. I encouraged him. I worked for it.
You instigated him.
Oh, yes.
You told him go for it.
Oh, yes. Somebody called me, come, oh, there is trouble. And I was in Lagos. What is the trouble? They say anybody that talks to him about presidency he was quarreling with them.
From what he's saying here, that initially Tinubu did not want to be president. And I looked at it now and I'm thinking, do I need to believe him when he said a thing like this, that Tinubu did not want to be president? Yet the same Tinubu had already said that being the president of Nigeria had been his long life ambition. Recall that when Tunde Bakari was made the vice presidential candidate to General Muhammadu Buhari in 2011, part of the revolutions that Tunde Bakari made was that that Tinubu approached him to sign an undertaking that if the election is won, that he will then replace him as vice president. At that point, you then wonder, if a man had always had the ambition of becoming a president, how do we then hear this narrative now that he not necessarily didn't want to be a president? I mean, for me, that's questionable. But let's go ahead.
When this one talk about that, anybody that mentioned, he was quarreling with them. And then I met him. And he said, Baba, do you have money? If I had the kind of money that people have to be president, I will rank with Dangote.
Tinubu was saying that?
Yes, to me.
When was this?
Well, sometimes shortly before COVID. Shortly before Elsa.
The same Tinubu everybody is saying is the owner of Lagos in terms of money?
Yes, that's what he said to me.
They didn't have money?
Yes, that's what he said to me. And I said, look, we don't want you to be president because of you. You are unimportant in this matter. But that in Yoruba tradition, when you want to worship the deity, you take the fattest animal or the biggest yam to worship the deity. Yoruba want to be president. And you are the one we have now. It is to sacrifice you so that we can have president.
I do not know what to make about this last statement. Without sounding as if one honestly, I don't know how to say this because one has to be very careful here. It will sound as if one is honestly, I don't know. But my point here is he made a clear point that Tinubu's president is Yoruba's presidency. Again, listen to him. Tinubu's presidency is Yoruba's presidency.
Yoruba want to be president. And you are the one we have now. It is to sacrifice you so that we can have president, not for you to be anything.
What did he say?
He didn't know what to say. He was looking at me as if I was sick or something.
Now, Tinubu did not debunk that his presidency was going to be a Yoruba presidency. If you go to the Twitter street, people have really taken to the Twitter app to write a lot of things. Some have said, does this statement from Elder Bisi Akande, does it then explain why Tinubu is replicating the nepotism in appointment the same way that General Muhammad Buhari did with the North? Again, you look at it. For me, my job is to bring these things out here. I'm neither here nor there. But if you look at it again deeply, these are what people are saying. Where, I don't know. How do you see this? Tell me in the comment section.
He didn't say anything. He was just sober.
But he told us that becoming the president was his lifetime ambition.
Yes, I don't know. But at that time, people called me, many people, they called me, come, there's trouble. And I went.
And he listened to you.
He listened. And where he asked questions, he said, okay, Baba, you now say I should run.
He calls you Baba?
Yes. He said, now you say I should run. What about this, my leg? You know, he's having a bad leg. You know, arthritis. I said, go and do it. Just sit time.
Oh, dear. You recall when Tinubu went to do his knee surgery? At some point, they were showing us video where he was doing the indoor cycling. Oh, so things are making sense. I mean, it's a fantastic
Go
interview.
and do
I
it.
must
You
say.
heal in 6 months. And then you start walking again. And you can run.
And he went to fix it.
And he went to fix it.
And COVID came.
Everything, many things came. NSA came, many things.
Some people thought NSAS was the end of Tinubu.
But you see, this is where some of us faults, you know, before now, whatever he was telling us, we didn't know, new to us, myself. But at this point, he has begun to say things that we all know. Some of us very active now, and hence I decided this evening to say we must put the record straight. We cannot allow misinformation to stick, because when it sticks, we do not know how it may end up tomorrow if it goes unchallenged. Now, listen to Chief Bisi Akande, the former governor,
NSA
the things he said about NSAS.
was aimed to be the end of Tinubu.
That NSAS was to be the end of Tinubu. Wait a minute, people. NSAS was peaceful. NSAS was peaceful until the government began to shoot. Wait a minute. Who were those who used federal government vehicles to disperse NSAS protesters in Abuja? How did NSAS start? Were the police who shot Nigerians across southern states of Nigeria, in Lagos, in Onitsha, in Enugu, in Ibadan, in Ogbomosho, in Warri, in Port Harcourt, in Delta? The one that triggered it was the Delta incident. Before then, the Nigerian youth were already saying, please help us disband this SARS. They are killing us. If you have a laptop, if you have your afro, or if you have your, what's it called, dread or whatever, they categorize you as someone who is, engaging in fraud, and they take you. We know the evil things that happened at SARS or Kozo. We know other notorious, SARS offices. For the elder to now turn around to say that NSAS was planned to be the end of Tinubu, is he now saying that the federal government of Muhammadu Buhari was the brain behind NSAS? Is that what he's trying to say?
Did you say that?
Yes.
NSAS
was designed to be the end of Tinubu.
Can you expatiate?
Those behind the NSAS knew that's what they were doing.
Who were those behind it?
The what do you call them? The Obidients.
The Obidients.
The Obidients were behind the NSAS.
We're behind the NSAS.
Yes, it was manufactured from America, and so brought in just to stop him.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Where do we start to lecture this elder without anyone accusing us as, that you have insulted an elder, or that you have done one thing or the other? How does one start? NSAS was in 2020, October 2020. NSAS, October 2020. Obidient, 2022. There was an election, 2019. The new president or the re-elected president was re-sworn in 29th of May, 2019. Barely 1 year into the office, after the Supreme Court had declared Buhari, affirmed his election. How do you make this connection? I personally know when this conversation of NSAS started, P2B was still in the PDP. When this conversation of Obidients started, P2B was still in the PDP. Many people did not know how we funded to demand that those who supported him should go to the Wadata House in Abuja, Wuse 2, to demand that they give us Obi. If you want to know what I'm saying, this is a free, you have an internet. All you need to do, use your telephone, Google, give us Obi, Abuja. You will see that in 2022, timelines are there, brekete. Even that was streamed live here on Njenge Media. So the connection, the nexus between NSAS, that happened 2 years before, and to the demand for Obi after all the media engagement. To recall, January that same 2022, I was the first person that interviewed Peter Obi, even inside his bedroom. Showed the whole world his bedroom when I went to his house in Onitsha. So how can I didn't get involved in NSAS? I had absolutely nothing to do with NSAS. But here we're now being told that those behind Obidients were behind NSAS. Of course, there were individuals who took part in NSAS and who saw Peter Obi worthy to say, okay, now since some of us didn't want to believe, but if he's convincing us to come and give it one more shot, some of them. If you go Akin Tollgate, if you go to on Twitter Street, you see these individuals, Sarah Ibrahim, many of them. Then you begin to wonder, why is this old man speaking in this manner at this time? It's quite disturbing. Let me take the final part.
But Obi, who
who
are the Obidients?
I said the Obidients.
So who are the Obidients? So who are the Obidients?
The Obidients came from America to do the NSA and later became a movement to form a party, and they couldn't form a party and join whichever party.
You know, I thought Obidient was tied to Peter Obi.
Well, maybe Obi's party, I don't know. Maybe Obi's movement, I don't know.
With all due respect, sir, elder and former governor, what you have just said now is beautiful nonsense. Arrant nonsense, sir. I do not know how else to respond to these. They came from America. The people killed by SARS, they were killed in America, right? The people killed by SARS in Oka, in Enugu, in Port Harcourt, in Warri, in Akwa Ibom, in Delta, in Obomosho, in Alausa, in Lekki, they were all from America. Of course, when the NSAS started, Jack Dorsey gave the NSAS that free hand, the green, white, green hand like this. The former owner of Twitter, the founder of Twitter, yes, he did. How does that mean that NSAS came from America? Go and find out. The small stout on Twitter called Sege Link was one of those behind it. He does not live in America. He lives here. Of course, when NSAS got to the point that it was so peaceful, it was two things, musical carnival and feeding, that these young people were being fed. Yes, because of the way CBN was doing, I am aware that some people started donating money through cryptocurrency in order to mask being detected. It didn't matter. Within Nigeria, people were, pay attention, 2020 was still crypto bull market, right? Crypto bull market that eventually ended in 2021. So people were buoyant in cryptos. People had ETC, BTC, BNB, some all manner of meme coins that they know they could spare some BTCs and converted into Naira, and they used it in cooking. Many people, when the shooting started, when some of us got involved and started using our money to rent private ambulances to evacuate people. How can we then suddenly sit down here, an elder that ought to be respected is trying to change the history that is before us, that some of us were active participants. The only thing that some till tomorrow, that the only thing that some of us spoke against and even got the people involved to say, no, this is not right, was when Nnamdi Kanu, who did not understand, who didn't know where NSAS was formed, how NSAS started, the young and, 18, 19, 20-year-old that started the whole thing as a result of those being killed, when he got involved and started making unnecessary statements. Oh, destroy this, do this, one, the other, and the other. That was the only interjection. If not, it was a thing that was done purely by the youth. Even Davido, at some point when they started negotiating, got involved. And they at some point thought, no, Davido, you're trying to use this to chase clout. We are going to knock you out. At some point, Shege pulled out. So how can these things that we are active participants and will leave it like there is no tomorrow? Dele Faro to me was, come on, how many? The former Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, and Peter Obi were about the only two politicians that spoke up against NSAS. Hence, they began to appeal to those who either were angry with the system at that point. But to say that the obedient, a child cannot begot his father. The obedience cannot have started NSAS because the obedient was a thing that came when the political season began to be off ripe, which we don't even know what's going to happen in 2027. By next year, 2026, the political landscape will change. Even before end of this year, organizations and entities will merge. Then suddenly we will be here, somebody wakes up and tells us, oh, it's this entity that emanated in 2025, 26. Oh, they were the ones that did NSAS. Abba now, Abba, Oga, you just spoken beautiful nonsense. Sorry, with all due respect, sir. You goofed on this. We cannot allow this to stand. And I thank God that my good brother and friend, the obedient leader, Tanko Yunusa, had responded, very, very well to this. And let me take what Tanko wrote this evening. Let's take this. Dr. Tanko Yunusa said, Obedient movement stands for the truth, justice, rejecting Governor Bisi Akande's false allegation. The Obedient movement outrightly rejects the baseless and revisionist claim by former Governor Bisi Akande that our movement was behind the historic NSAS protests, allegedly orchestrated to stop Bola Ahmed Tinubu from becoming president. Come on. Whether an old age, they worry the man, I don't know. This false narrative is not only an insult to the memory of the young Nigerians who lost their lives in the fight against police brutality, but also a desperate attempt to rewrite history and shift blame for the government's failures. NSAS was a decentralized, youth-led movement demanding an end to police brutality, extrajudicial killing, and systemic oppression in Nigeria. It was not politics, nor was it about single individuals' presidential ambition. Nigerians, especially young people, took to the street in 2020 because they were tired of the injustice, unchecked police violence, and a government that refused to listen to its people. To suggest that the obedient movement, a movement that emerged years later, has a symbol of letter as a symbol of hope, accountability, and good governance was responsible for NSAS is not only false, but also a deliberate attempt to discredit our cause. We are a movement of patriotic Nigerians united by the desire for a better country, not agents of chaos as Akande and his allies would like to paint us. Rather than engaging in revisionist propaganda, we urge Elder Pa Bisi Akande and his associates to focus on addressing the real issues facing Nigeria today: economic hardship, insecurity, unemployment, and bad governance. The people are suffering, and no amount of misinformation or historical distortion will change the reality. We stand firm in our mission to restore integrity, transparency, and good governance in Nigeria. No amount of false accusation will deter us from advocating for a better future for our nation. Signed, Dr. Tanko Yunusa, National Coordinator, the Obedient Movement. I must say thank you very much, timely, and thank you for that timely intervention. We cannot in this year and age allow anyone to gaslight us. We cannot allow anyone to distort history. It is a shame that Pabisi Akande could look into the camera and lie and try to distort history, that the Obidients are the ones behind NSAS, the memories of those that were shot across Nigeria and those killed at the Loki toll gate. May their souls keep resting in peace. But we, the ones alive, for our children, cannot allow elders that are much closer to the departure lounge to begin to lie with our head. That is not acceptable, and Nigerians would not accept that. All this parakboism, all these back and forth is as a result of the 2027 election. By hook or by crook, they are now bringing all hands to be on deck for them to do what they know how to do best: snatch it, grab it, and do what? And run with it. Right? Honestly, I found that really, really terrifying. But anyway, that's on that, people. It is indeed unbelievable what we have seen. Now, if we move forward, we will see that on another plan, that Rotimi Amaechi is in this meeting that I highlighted at the beginning, is saying to Nigerians that Nigerians are not yet ready for a revolution. If they are ready, that they shouldn't have allowed some of these things happening to happen. Let me know your reaction.
Governor Rotimi Amaechi up.
Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, whatever I say, put the blame on Tambua, because we had together prayed the Islam prayer that we should not talk here at all. And it looks as if his prayer didn't work. That's why I'm talking. Exactly. Says my name Ibrahim. I was also going to respond to you. You see, all we hear here is typical Nigeria. Typical Nigeria, and you are clapping. That's why politicians get away with anything. They get away with murder because you have short memory. Short memory. None of you here seated can defend the votes. If you have complained, Nigerians have been clapping for you. The only way Shekarau became governor, do you know how? Because people lined up. When they ask how many people are there, they say over 500,000. No, I won't give 500,000. Announce Shekarau. It happened in Ghana. Before the election of the last president. 2 days, a lot of us were called to intervene. But why did they do that? The people were ready to die.
Do you agree with Rotimi Amaechi that the reason why these things keep happening is that Nigerians are not ready to? Then I ask myself, recall that part of the thing that Amaechi is crying for now is actually one of the things he was behind in 2015, 2014, 15. He was one of those who was shouting, kill Jonathan, remove him by all means. And they planned to remove him. I will show us even when Jonathan was prophetically telling Nigerians what was going to happen. Nobody believed him. But hey, Amaechi is now calling and saying that Nigerians should go out if they feel so offended. I say, Oga, are you going to lead? Are you not also guilty of what you're accusing Nigerians? Oh, they do everything, and you keep quiet. You're going to run for 2027, ba? Don't worry now. When they rig you, we'll see whether you go and lead the protest. But at least I can comfortably beat my chest that in 2023, I led a protest. Was one of those who led it. Proudly so. A very peaceful one that every single thing, even the pure waters that we drink, will have to pick all the liters that nowhere was littered at all. With bodyguard, with police, we had to march and register our disgust.
You are talking, abusing everybody. Nobody has power and will give it to you. Nobody, not even me.
Fact.
If you want a pastor as president, can't get one. The politician is there in Nigeria to steal, to maim, to kill, to remain in power. If you think Tinubu will give it to you, you are wasting your time. So when we speak, we forget history. Unfortunately for me, poverty has made me to be part of the political system from when I left university. I left university 1987 and I've been part of the process till today. You can't wish me away in the formation of APC. You certainly can't wish me away. You can't wish me away in how APC won election. You can't.
You can't wish me away on how APC won election. I hope you understand what he meant there, how APC won election. In the words of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it's snatch it, grab it, and run with it.
But the truth is that if some of us did not stick at our neck, say, PDP, good luck, we want to die with you. When they saw that we were ready to die, what did they do? They gave up power. So we have sweet mouth, we'll talk about it, we'll repeat these things every day. Tomorrow they will call you in Lagos, you will go. Somebody told me in Lagos, said, look, Mr. Amaechi, I said, sir, you see these people gathered here? I say, yes. We call them transport, this, they came.
And they will come.
If tomorrow Tinubu comes with the same transport, they will also come. And the final example is when we are pursuing, APC was registered, and I was scared that, look, they may rig us out. So I got the party to agree that we will carry out a demonstration. They agreed that we will carry out a demonstration. We assembled at, where is that parade ground? Eagle Square.
Mm-hmm.
We released some money to go and bring women and all that. I walked in. One time about me, I must go early to know what is going on before people will come. See the women gathered. Guess what they are wearing? Jonathan for president. God bless you.
Well, what he said is a fact, actually. I have seen campaign where it's as a result of poverty, where people are mobilized. I think I've seen it where in an APC campaign, some women would tie wrapper. It is the wrapper they were given by YPP, Nnewi. At the top is the APC polo they were given to them by Dr. Chris Ngige. And her tie is the one that was given to them by APGA with Obiano in the So it means the person in question is already confused. He's basically having three different attires, right? But you think that is a misnomer. Wait until you hear the interjection by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
I can see so many hands up. I need to be partial.
Let me intervene here.
Okay.
That is borrowed from rivers. Because when Odili was in office as a governor, we went on a rally. The entire stadium was filled to capacity. But before we could finish the rally, everybody had left. We were left alone. Then I asked what happened. He said they were paid for only 2 hours.
Anyway, that's on a lighter note. The question here is, and what is the key takeaway? That Rotimi Amaechi is admonishing Nigerians that if we are serious, we should take the bull by the horn. Election is not for the faint-hearted. Like someone wrote in the comment section, hate him or like him, he has been consistent in that. He has been saying this, I think, in one of the interventions also. He had the following to say.
If you see a thief and you allow him to be stealing, what do? You have stolen nobody. That's why we are stealing. You will stone me. Who have you stolen? Few individuals are going away with the money. You have done nothing. You have had $50 billion, not 50 million naira. Not 50. You can say I'm stealing the basket, no problem. You can say as much as you want. It's good to steal if you can't fight back. You know, the problem is you have heard about $50 billion. Nobody is talking. You are debating whether can he talk to the president like that. Should we? How did you know he talked about it? Why should CBN governor even write about it in the first place? In some countries, people will be on the street until they return that money.
Okay, that was during the time of Sanusi and Goodluck Jonathan debacle. Now, we have not forgotten. We haven't forgotten. In all these things, Goodluck, Ebele, Jonathan warned Nigerians when he said this. By the time that Amaechi and Co. was planning to oust him from office, he had this following to tell Nigerians. Let me take us down memory lane. Good luck.
To address old people like me, because we are spent already. Either you vote for the young Nigerians to be relevant in the Nigerian political history, or you vote for you to be irrelevant. They want to take us to the old days where nobody sees voters' cards, but results were announced. Nigeria must move forward. Nigeria is for the youth. Nigeria is not for old people like us. The youth must redefine this country. The young generation must redefine this country. We must take this country to where we want to go. Nobody can push us backward. The past is past. They have led us backward and backward. In fact, when we are small, we were told that at independence, Nigeria, Brazil, Malaysia, Indonesia, and even India, we were all at the same level. That is what we are told when I was in secondary school. That is what we were told when I was in the university. Now all those countries have left us behind. And some people want to take us backward. Do you want to go backward? No. Nigerian youth, do you want to go backward? No. If they have succeeded in fighting corruption, corruption wouldn't have been with us today. If somebody tells you that the best way to fight corruption is to come and arrest your uncle and father and see on television and dump him, you don't stop corruption. But you must set up institutions, strengthen them to prevent people from even touching the money. So immediately I suspect your uncle, I can just create him and throw him to Kirikiri.
Anyway, the point here is that it was very clear and abundantly so, that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan warned Nigerians that if certain decisions were taken, that is what we were going to see. Sadly, Nigerians were carried away by the mantra of change. And even when certain things were, even when they took over in their second term, and they were shouting APC from top to bottom, we didn't know what.
APC, Nigeria, Nigeria from top to bottom.
So when they were shouting APC from Nigeria top to bottom, we didn't know. But fast forward now, 10 years after the APC took over, Nigeria is indeed top to bottom. To a point now that if you want to say something, they will ask you.
That is okay. But let me explain. No, it's okay. It's okay. Let me explain. It's okay. Now. It's okay. You must not allow the two children to handle the budget every year. It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay.
Off your mic. Because enough said. Enough said. We saw in Niger State, as a result of some say bad road, like the Sapele Road, we lost a couple of over 90% of our kitten kings. In Enugu State, this same week, we lost about 18 people, tanker fire. In Kaduna, in Niger State, over 90 people. Put them together, we're talking about 118 human beings. Yet, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria did not issue any statement, did not visit the site to condone Nigeria. But today, there was a helicopter and a plane collision in America, and certain lives were lost. And quickly, he had already tweeted about the American one, praying for them. And I said, well, I thought that they said that charity begins at home. Maybe in Nigeria, in our own case, charity, they say, begins from America. Now, in this meeting that they had yesterday, if we step back a little bit, and we now look at two actors. We've looked at Rotimi Amaechi, two actors, Rotimi Amaechi and Nasir El-Rufai. They were there, and they had the following to say. Right? Let's listen to Nasir El-Rufai just quickly. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Okay. Quickly. I haven't got any audio on this. Quickly, let me pull something off quickly. I haven't got any audio on this. Let me see if I can go to source. Okay. I'm going to be pulling something quickly on this. Okay. Yeah. So bear with me just 1 second. Okay. So let me quickly go to source here. Okay.
Excellency, former Vice President. If you look at the program, you'll see that I'm not supposed to be on this panel. I was compulsorily drafted, and I want to say up front that I am the least qualified person on the panel to speak about political parties, because my experience in politics is limited. and my experience in forming or managing political parties is even more limited. I've been actively involved in only 2 political parties, all in the 21st century, unlike the former vice president who has been in this since the 20th century. I was very active in the CPC. I was one of the leaders of the CPC before we merged into the APC. And all I know about partisan politics comes from that experience. But I want to say that, political parties are very, very important. I did not realize this until I became politically active. Because in our constitution, the only way we can contest for power is on the platform of political parties. Our constitution does not recognize independent candidates, even though we tried in our APC Committee on True Federalism to recommend that the constitution be amended to allow independent candidates. That has not happened yet, and I don't even know if it will ever happen. So political parties remain important. But what is the state of political parties today? I will give my own views of what I have seen in the last 2 years. The PDP, which is one of the largest and perhaps the oldest political party in this republic, is clearly targeted for destruction. It's a matter of time. There are internal mercenaries in the PDP that have been hired, paid, or otherwise motivated to destroy the party. So the party is on its way to the grave. Okay? And it's most unfortunate because
now in this case, you should understand who that job was meant for. That job was meant for someone that the individual sits outside the PDP, but obviously making the PDP to bleed from within. And at this point, I'll ask myself, for a man who hasn't left the APC and is, making certain utterances, you say, people say, Oga, it appears you're also standing on this table. I mean, honestly, it appears you're standing on this table too.
His Excellency, the former Vice President, was explaining how politicians came together, essentially, put aside their differences to drive away the military. Most of these politicians ended up in the PDP. So the PDP actually represented the best of our politicians that fought for restoration of democracy. Forget those that make the most noise, but ran away from the country. Those that went to prison, those that were detained, all ended up in the PDP. Those were the real politicians that faced the military. But today, none of the founding fathers of the PDP can recognize it. Labour Party, again, targeted for destruction. And it's almost certain, the last time I had a conversation with Peter Obi himself, he admitted to me that he doesn't know what is happening in the party that he contested for president. So there seems to be a project to destroy all the opposition political parties. And the only option for the opposition, in my view, is to put aside their differences and come together and create a broad platform that will do the driving of the military again, because we are there almost.
Anyway, that's the much I can take from here. So what that is nothing but to say that the oppositions must really come together in order to to take power. And if you go to Symphony, you listen to the whole clip, you find out and agree with me that he also did not in any way exclude himself. Inadvertently, it means that one of his leg is already out of the door. The other is holding something like Yes on Weekend. is also holding. The only thing I can say to him at this point, Weekend, can you sing for him a wonderful blues before?
Of
At this point, that's it, people. Now, as you are aware, the PDP also are fighting. They are also fighting, so the PDP had a meeting, and they were fighting in a way that you'd say, these are adults, how are they fighting like this now? In the words of my Yoruba brothers, who say, Baba Kilo de, Kilo de, why they do like, why this rough fight? I mean, it's too much. Let's hear them.
Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending with reactions trailing the PDP meeting, which turned chaotic over a leadership dispute on Wednesday. A video that has now gone viral showed the moment a physical altercation erupted at the People's Democratic Party's headquarters in Abuja during a Board of Trustees meeting. The conflict involved a dispute between Samuel Anyanwu and Sunday Ude Okoye over the position of the National Secretary. Let's take a look at this video before we take some reactions.
Why will my own boys come on? I didn't think so now.
These ones now, people papa them be this one. Just to remain in power. By crook, by hook. They have to find a way to remain in power. How can? And they just see them fighting. You see that glass door, it was broken. The handles, the handles taken off. Police stand by. Nothing. I'm like, you can see the amount of police people there. All those people there, maybe they are waiting for the VIP that they came with. That's the way these things run. You just
Ever seen anything like this?
Don't cast.
Have you ever seen anything? This is so completely disgraceful, really disgraceful. I'm going to take some tweets before I come to you. It just shows so much disrespect.
Oh, yes.
When I saw the video with, the police officer standing there, the first video I saw, there was a man who literally pushed a woman aside to go into that chaotic scene. This person wrote, "There is so much disrespect for the Nigerian police. In other countries, once the police arrives at a scene, every fighting stops and the police de-escalates accordingly. But in Nigeria, they will shove the police aside if possible." While another Twitter user wrote, "The breakout from the PDP Board of Trustees meeting has laid bare a disturbing reality that those seeking to destroy the party seem to outnumber those working towards this revival. It is high time for patriotic Nigerians to urge opposition leaders to, as a matter of urgency, form the coalition." I mean, there have been talks about this coalition and all of that, but this is the most disgraceful thing that I have ever seen. People seeking leadership position, fighting. So what are they trying to lead? Who are they leading? What
James
group of people? Are they going to lead cows? Like, what actually is going on? This is disgraceful. Buhari said that
when you said leading cows, I think some people even fancy cows more than Nigerians in their
heard
mindset.
that, yes.
We've seen that. So when it comes to this, and I say don't cast because it shows the decadence in our politics, and that's why, please, I beg politicians, whatever it is, save this country. I don't see hope for this country with this crop of politicians. I do not see hope. And as regards the police force, the disrespect of the police force is something that we should also talk about.
Absolutely.
And also the police force also moving back. I think a matter like this, the police will have stepped in and de-escalated, because when it's with normal citizens, the police always have power. And really, the disrespect of the police force is also because of the way they have conducted themselves. If you go to Abidjan here, the gendarmerie are respected. But moving forward, what is happening? There are two people. Ayahu went to run for governor. So he left the executive position when he was in the APC. He wasn't successful in Imo. He's now coming back saying, okay, I want to get my position back. Somebody had been put in there. That's the other party I think Ode had been put in there. Ayahu went to court. He lost at the court the first place, went to the appeal court, it wasn't successful. He now went to get a stay that it's pending the Supreme Court judgments that will be decided that he should still hold that position. A lot of people are saying, you have gone to run for governor of Imo. There's what the law and the convention says in the party. That once you go to run, you will fulfill your position. Why don't you fulfill your position? But he wants his plan B to come back to that leadership position in the PDP to subsist. They had a BOT meeting, obviously, past chairman, past deputy national chair, headed by Adolphus Wabra, former Senate president. Then one party wanted to get in, the other party wanted to get in. A scuffle ensued. Then they brought about this show of shame in the country. Shame. Also, for me, it's the way the politicians even use our legal system. You have not been successful in the first court, the second court. After the Court of Appeal did rule, you are now going to get a stay. So that until the Supreme Court rules, you'll be able to kill time and you will be there. The total abhorrent abuse of our legal system is very shocking in this country. Yeah. So these are the people that say they are opposition, they want to lead Nigeria and all of that. Yeah. I can see a lot of people have extrapolated it and say, okay, there are other gladiators wielding the big one in the PDP and all of that. But it shows how politicians get away with murder in this country. Yeah.
Well, a lot of talks about the opposition being weakened. I'd like your thoughts, Dr. Abati, about this sort of conversation about a coalition or
okay, since this is a subject I'm very familiar with, let me just lay it out. I think what we're dealing with, to start with, is a crisis of internal democracy in our political parties. And it is not restricted to the PDP. You find it in virtually all the political parties. And it was Senator Adolphus Wabara, the chairman of the BOT, who made the point when he said, look, politicians, particularly within the PDP, should place party interests, I guess by extension national interests, above their own personal interests. Yeah. We have a political party system where people are just interested in their own ambition. And this has been causing problems within the PDP particularly. First, ahead of the 2015 general election, you recall, that was when the party was splintered, and you had something called New PDP that went into the APC Amaechi. Until they got nothing from there. In 2019, it was also the problem, not just at the federal level, but all the way, even at the state levels. There were fights in, branches of the party. In 2023, there was also that controversy over where the presidential candidate should come from. This is part of the problem of the 2023 process, when it was the Southeast Zonal NEC G5 executive committee of the party that recommended Sunday Ude, and then Anyanwu says he must have the position. However, what has happened now is that the meeting still held yesterday, and Senator Adolphus Wabara said that there will be a NEC meeting in February. That NEC meeting has been postponed again and again for more than 1 year. So you have a political party that cannot organize itself. Now, acting chairman of the party, Ambassador Damagum, also made the point that, look, it's PDP leaders themselves that are causing the problem, because everybody is interested in their own ambition. He is not saying he's the opposition, but there are some people who will say, oh, it's the APC that is disorganizing the PDP. But I think instead of blaming the APC without proof, without concrete evidence, all these are allegations. Damagum, who is the acting chairman himself, is saying the people causing the problem are leaders within the PDP. Yeah. And his main allegation is that, look, These PDP leaders, they bypass him, they talk to members of the National Working Committee. So there's no unity within the party. There's no discipline within the party. The party seems not to have the structure to organize itself. The most convenient, simplistic thing to do is to blame the outsider. If they are not blaming APC, maybe tomorrow they will blame Labour Party or they will blame the Obidients movement. You know, the responsibility of every political party is to organize their own affairs.
Yes.
INEC says this all the time after every election. If you don't have internal democracy, how can you lead Nigerians?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Anyway, that's on the PDP side. Then finally, before I leave you, many of you may have seen the video of Oshomole reaffirming what Peter Obi said many times. Recall in 2022, while we were at the University of Oxford, Said Business School, Peter Obi interacted with the African students there, and he made something very clear, that he believed that the oil thief in Nigeria is done by those in government. Then, that was under President Muhammadu Buhari. The man who said he's sanctimonious with some bogus integrity. He did nothing. Our oil was being stolen with reckless abandon. Today, the former governor of Edo State, who is now a senator, had gone ahead. He's still a member of the APC. He was former chairman of the APC. He was a former governor of the APC. So he's part of those who elected the one they have, the governor they have in Edo today, and who worked, tirelessly for him to emerge. And during the election appears to be his spokesperson. But that's by the way. Oshomole has come out to say that the minerals that we have in Nigeria, in certain part of Nigeria, is being stolen by those in government, thereby reaffirming the same thing that Peter Obi had said over and over again. No be my ear, pass on on. Make una hear am.
Crisis decisively.
Sir, who can afford to buy a chopper to land in an illegal mining site, cut away gold, return to Sediti, and then on the way to airport, bam, take them out of the country? This is happening. So I agree with you, but my position is that we shouldn't, as senators, be lamenting. As senators, we should fix the problem. We should tell the executive, you must deploy exactly the same force that you deploy against illegal oil bunkering. That same force should be deployed to deal with criminals who are money. When I say criminal, it can be a retired general, it can be a retired permanent secretary, it can be a retired trade unionist or a retired labor leader. Whoever is involved, they should be dealt with. Let Nigeria see that we are not condoning.
You know why sometimes these conversations with these Nigerian so-called leaders can be so annoying sometimes. When they say they have to, who are the they? You, your party, and the government. You know them. Say their names. No, you won't. Your party. You have the ears of your president. Call him, tell him these are the people. Go, write, tell us now. Not just saying this in the National Assembly, becomes sound bites, then nothing happens thereafter.
We are not lamenting what is going on. When you have a country of people who are above the law because they are supposed to have served the country, they have retired, and now they become the real barons, we should recommend steep penalties, and through the leadership of the Senate and the National Assembly, draw President's attention that he has to find the political will to deal decisively with criminals that are cutting away our precious stones and other precious solid minerals.
Okay. That brings me to a point where when something like this did happen before, And Buba Galadima was asked what he thought, when he left APC. He was asked what he thought about the APC. Buba Gala and Adams Oshomola. I will close with the following, with the words of Buba Galadima. Buba Galadima had the following to say about Senator Adams Oshomola. His words, not mine.
National Chairman Adams Oshomole has dismissed those that left, like yourself, as irrelevant.
So why is he running helter-skelter recruiting other looters and criminals into the party? Adams Oshomole is a fraudster. Let him come and tell the Nigerian public he's a public officer. Where did he get the money to build the palace, the biggest in the whole of Africa, and build a university, build a police station, have the house he has in Maitama Extension, the one he has in Aso Drive? Where did he get the money from? After all, he's a common tailor. Where is his father's farm?
DSS, so no be me talk this one, no. We could not begin look for. Never me call and come and tell, but he gets some suit where they see the man when he go wear their suit. I do not ask about the tailor who made those suits. I ask about the carpenter who made those suits. On that note, I say thank you very much for joining me. I am Mazes. Okay, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you tomorrow on my Friday hangout. And do not forget to join me on the State of the Igbo Nation on Sunday, 7 p.m. This week, I will be having the rare privilege of bringing in the Anambra State Commissioner of Information, Dr. Law Mefo, PhD. We'll be having a conversation on a wide range of issues, what the Anambra State government is doing, and the issue of security, insecurity in the state, and what they are doing regarding the Operation Udoga, where there are unanswered questions regarding the hotel that was demolished in Anambra, where they said that they found 30 mini graves, and the accusations and counter-accusations regarding what's happening, and also what the state government is doing to drive Anambra State, in their own words, a prosperous and a livable city in Nigeria. Good night. May God bless us all. And like I said before, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe.
La